Okay, this is STO Santos, and this is the weekly chart. I might just mark off first our ultra high volume bar over here as our key levels, and you can see we've sort of been in a sideways movement from there up and down. So what else can we have a look at? So that's our climactic action that took it up, but it never really cleared above it. It started clearing above it up here, but you can see the no demand bars, the volume getting less and less while the price is going up. So you would have been getting a little bit of warning that it shouldn't be doing that if you're looking at the weekly chart there. But anyway, it's trying to hold on to the low of that bar now, and you can see that there's no real climactic action coming in here to suggest there really any enthusiastic buying. We can see this bar down here, ultra high volume down bar with price going up. Now if that was all selling, then price couldn't go up like that, and so there must have been buying in that bar, and that's actually stopped the move in its track, and then it's gone up. But I might just put a line on the bottom of that as possible support, but we don't see anything particularly special about the volume there. We've had this high volume down bar closing not much lower than that close, so there was some buying coming in there, and that was confirmed by price going up. Just tried to go up again on no demand. It hasn't worked, and it's fallen down this week, confirming the weakness there. So there's nothing, it looks like it's struggling to hang on there, but there's nothing, there is some buying coming in there, but nothing really climactic at the moment. But anyway, we'll just have a look at some possible support lines. Got this big pitchfork there that's been struggling to hang on to that lower time there. I might just put a parallel line on there. That's since even broken, hasn't even held on to that either. We can try a trigger line there. So that's a possible support line. I'll probably not try this one here. And that's okay. So that's got some 3 touches on it, so that might support here where you've got the intersection between the two. There's 2 support lines where it might want to support there. We can, what else can we look at? We can possibly put a pitchfork there, and that gives us a, there we go, we get another, starting to get a cluster of support lines around this $12.30, $12.20 mark down here. So possibly that might be an area to look out for as possible support. But let's just see what this line here takes us. No, that might be pushing it a little bit, but might just connect these 2 tops here as well, and then just see if I can, I'll put one on, I'll copy that onto there, and that's actually picks up those 2 pivots there, doesn't it? And I'll get rid of this pitchfork there, and I'll get rid of this pitchfork there as well. And so we've got a little down channel there. I'll just put one in the middle. Just going to look by That looks like the middle there. So that's actually given us a bit of a trend channel there to look out for. I'll just extend this one back and just see where we go. Oh, look at that, bang, it's picked up these pivots here, over here as well. So that gives some validity. I'll just extend this back and see what we get. Bang, it's gone straight through the gap there. So that's pretty good. There's a structure we can have a look at, and that's actually that's coming down into that cluster there as well. So we might get some support down there. So it'd be an area to look out for to see if we see any climactic volume coming in that might stop that move down. But at the moment, you'd have to be at the moment, looks like we're starting to break below our really high volume bar over here, and we'd be wary now of any weak bars trying to move back up. But anyway, you got a significant support cluster down here at the $12. That's at $12.30 to $12.20 around there. So that's something to keep an eye on. This is WPL, Woodside Petroleum. Looking at the weekly, I'll go to the daily. I guess I'll stay on the weekly. I'll put a line on our high volume bar there. It's sticking out at us, and that's actually broken below there. I've got that low there, pivot low there has been broken as well. So it's not looking too good, and there's no sign of any interest coming in there either. That's probably a bit hard to, if I get rid of that bar so we can look at the relative volume. Yeah, you can see how here, once it's trying to get above our bad volume area there, has supplies coming in. You've got ultra high volume coming in, and it's closing well off its high. And then the next bar tries to go up on less volume. The next bar, less volume again, and we've got this big upthrust spike, and that's on increased volume. So we're getting warnings up the top there as well on the weekly. We're now broken below our significant support lines over here, and there's no sign of any major interest in buying these low prices. So that's a bit of a worry. I might just put a pitchfork on there as well, I suppose. See where we're at. That's broken down below that. You can see how it's gapped and got some good nice little touches on there, just to that doesn't help you if you're long, does it? Anyway, we'll go put a trigger line there. So it does come down to this level, 35 level. That'll be something to have a look at. I might just get rid of that, and oh, hang on, I am on the daily. Here we go. So now switch to the daily. That's okay. I might just have a look at our really high volume bars on the daily. There's that really big one there that's come down. I might just mark that one off. Well, that one's well and truly gone now, isn't it? You see how it's broken through there, back tested and broken right down. So that's I'll get rid of it so you can see what we're doing. Yeah, and you can see this, it stands out more on the daily. You get this really weak bar going up. It's an up bar, but it's closed well off its highs. And then you get price trying to go up on less petrol. There's a no demand, but there's upthrust. There's your high volume climactic action. There's your followed by upthrust, your no demand. And then you get this really big spike here, closing well off there. And it's never been able to close above this really climactic bar here. It's closed on there, but yeah, it doesn't look. I was telling you to go short at the top there. Then you're getting some short entries there, some 2-bar reversals, no demand, trying to go up on no demand, getting your up thrusts and no demand bars coming in as you're going down. So and there's no real evidence of any climactic action happen here. This bar here on Thursday tried to go higher on less volume, closed lower, it's come down on more volume, so it's not really showing any signs that it wants to stop going down really. What other support levels can we look at? There's, well, it's broken that pivot low there too as well, hasn't it? What's the next one? It's just anyway, that's I'll put that trigger line back in. You'd have to start looking for short trades on that, I would think. There's a trigger line there to keep an eye on if it gets that far, but you'd be looking at any so even your most recent high volume bar, it's come down. There was a buying bar there that's taken it back up, but that's just a retrace to a bear flag, and it's broken below there as well. So so now it's broken our significant levels. You'd be looking, you could certainly start looking for some short trades, I suppose. But anyway, that's Westside Petroleum. This is TAM, Tanami Gold. Oh, what's that? Oh yeah, they must have had a consolidation down here, I imagine. So I'll just move that back there. I've drawn this pitchfork structure in here, and so the thing that stands out there is we've started to move away from this downtrend here and getting starting to make some higher highs and higher lows again. So that's a positive. It looks like it's very thinly traded. It doesn't look like a lot of activity there, so probably not one I would touch myself personally, not because there's anything wrong with it, but because just because it's thinly traded. And if you're using a methodology that looks at volume and activity of the smart money, it's easier to do when there's a lot of volume, a lot of activity generally happening in the stock. The principles still apply, but I just find it easier on the more liquid stocks to trade. But anyway, we can see the principles at work here. I've marked off a very high volume climactic bar here. We're up into a new high here. It's a very high volume up thrust, and everyone's jumping on there and buying it, but then the next bar closes off low and goes down. So there must have been that's probably good news. The herd are buying, but the smart money are selling into the herd. They're using that up movement to shift stock, and they've whipped it around to get their orders filled. Even when it's collapsed here, they haven't finished yet. You notice once they get back into this selling area, how quickly they move it through there, and that's still trying to avoid buying. They've already taken their positions. They're trying to avoid buying. I want to be buying as little from locked-in holders as possible, so they'll let this move up really quickly, possibly on some really good news. But once it gets to the top here, selling into its close well of its highs, and they're in there distributing huge stock, and you know that because it's closed off its highs and then prices start closing lower. So if it was all buying, how could it not go higher? So you're in a new area, so you can't argue that you got trapped buyers to the left. So that tells you the pros are selling into the stock at that area, and they've done it once, twice, 3 times, and then they're all done and they've taken it back down here and it's closed. Now we're getting into an area here. We've had some bit of vibration down here and it's broken out a little bit, it looks like. So we'll have a closer look at the volume over here. We've had this period of consolidation down here. See, we've had this big buying bar up here, but it stopped court supply. Come back. When we see these big volume up bars, they need to be tested. So it's come down. This is actually a nice test. It's high volume, so it's still catching supply, but it's a nice test back into that area. Down it goes on very low volume, so supply is drying up, and so you get price going higher. High volume, narrow spread up thrust, so that's catching supply still. Little test there. Eventually they break it up. We've got a big energy bar breaking through the resistance there. That needs to be tested, so it's come back. It's catching supply. That's from locked in traders to the left there. Then supply dries up, you get the lowest volume in 3 bars and they shift it up. But we're now back into our buying area. So they've exerted effort to break it through the bottom of our really high volume bar over here. So that's good. You want to see effort rewarded, but it has hit bang up against our second really high volume bar here and stopped. And the next bar, when I say high volume, it's relatively speaking, because it's only 600,000 shares. So that's probably why I wouldn't trade it, because because you're relying on the strength of these, or weakness in these ultra high volume bars, but there's not a lot in these. There's not a lot in them. So, but anyway, but as it goes up on high volume, relatively speaking, catches supply. We get another bar that goes up, but it's very narrow spread, closes off the low, so it's catching supply. That's confirmed by price going down, and and this big bar here needs to be tested, and that looks like what's happened there. They've tested in, but you don't get the nice volumes dried up there, and then it's kicked up but still found supply again. Up thrust, that's a nasty one. So this might have to go sideways a bit before it goes higher, because the problem is you've got all these locked in buyers now. You've got a whole heap of disillusioned buyers who've been stuck in a losing trade for a while now, and they're going to oppose the price going up. So that supply needs to be absorbed. So that might need to come. If they're bullish the stock, you'll see here where they supported the lows there. They'll support this price, and it might just move sideways within this bar. This bar might need to be tested. I don't think this bar has been tested properly yet. You've got that test there, come down. It's on low volume, but it's closed on the low, so there's still supply present there. What I don't like is how they've gapped this right up, and there's no gap compared to the high, but from the close they've gapped it right up, and you're getting these. And they've gapped the open even on there. So when you see weak bars gapping up there, it looks like they're trying to squeeze the last bit of juice out of the up move, and so I'd expect this would come down and retest for supply, possibly where they've broken out from within this bar, possibly down there, even at the 89.5, 90 cents. But you are making higher lows, and you are you are making higher lows, so that's the positive. And you are so while price stays within this range of this up bar here, no, I don't think it looks too bad, but I certainly wouldn't be buying there because they are weak bars at the top here. So I think this might need to go sideways a little bit and even test down, even down to the 89.5 there. So I'll just have to see what happens there. But at the moment, there's weakness appearing as we're getting into this selling area, previous selling area. There's weakness appearing, but we're not seeing this really climactic action there, which is good. If you saw this sort of volume on these sort of bars, then you'd be out of there straight away. You wouldn't want to be hanging about. But I think this needs to test for supply, and then you'll need a little bit of volume to get through there, but you don't want too much because that will suggest they're selling it on the other end. But anyway, that's TAM. Okay, this is CSR, and it's been going down for a little bit here now. I just changed software to Trade Guide because I had a bit of a consolidation on the other ones. On the Pro Real Time, it's not doesn't show the consolidation properly. But anyway, so we've been in this downtrend for a little bit here, so I might just zoom in from the top here. I might put in a trend channel. I don't know where I'll take it from the top there, or maybe from here. I'll just connect those two lows there, maybe. Yep, that picks them up. So I might zoom in again. What do we do? Okay, so we've got a downtrending channel there that it's been tracking, and probably a significant bar on here is this really, you suddenly see this ultra high volume up bar that goes really nowhere, and that's your get out of town warning, because it's excessive, and it's an up bar. There's ultra high volume, but price goes, now how can a price not move on that sort of volume? You got to so you got to assume that smart money are exiting the stock, and in a big way. So we've got to, what we'll do is we'll draw, I'll just draw a line under there. I'll draw a line on the close just to see how that's actually acted as resistance. You've actually got a no demand bar just coming right up into that close there, so you could actually, I probably would have shorted there after seeing this really weak bar there. Normally I'd wait for it to go below there, but I think I would have gone ahead and shorted that. And it's the, hang on, I'll zoom in on it. It's the lowest, it's gone up, but it's the lowest volume in 3 bars, and it's just not going to happen. It's not going to get above here on no demand. I might just zoom in further so you can have a closer look. There we go. And yeah, so it's gone up on no demand. It's, even though it's a down bar, it's the high has actually gone higher than the previous high and closed down. So it's tried to go up on no demand and come down. You could have taken a short trade there. You could have put a short order just below there and put your stop above that really bad bar over here. Oh, not that one. I've missed it. I've used the wrong one. Here we go. It's actually that bar there. But here we go. Look, we've got this really ultra high volume up bar, and the next bar is up, but it's a on the lowest volume in 3 bars, so that's actually really bearish. That's not, it's tried to go up on no demand, so you could probably even have taken your short trade just below that really ultra high volume weak bar there and put your stop above, and either there and even there I still would have, because that's a really bad, that's really climactic action there, really weak. So but anyway, I'll scale that back again. As we're coming down, we do have volume really increasing now, so the price has been closing off its high, so that's a potential buying coming in. So it's trying to support, but it's they'll have to be confirmed by price going up. But there is some buying coming in the bottom because the price is closing off its low on really high volume. So we'll just have to see what happens on Monday, how that works out. But I certainly wouldn't be buying it. Once you're in your downtrend, you're paying special attention to your weak bars, especially at the top of the trend channel there. That no demand bar there is at the top of a trend channel, and you get another no. If you miss that one, you've got another no demand bar going up straight on the top of that trend channel. So you got ultra high volume going nowhere, no demand, up thrust, no demand, and that's a trade guide setup. You see those three together like that, and that's a very high probability trade right on that bar there. So and right on top of a downtrending trend channel. So that would have been a beauty. But anyway, there's some strength coming in as it's trying to support, but yeah, but I certainly wouldn't want to be long the stock at the moment. And if that's genuine strength, then it'll try and price will go up and then retest in there to try and make a higher low. But we're in a downtrending channel at the moment, so we pay more attention to our weak bars at the top of the channel. So our entries we're looking for are short entries, and we pay not so. We are mindful of the bottom of the channel, but we give more weight to our weak bars at the top of the channel. You get some really good weak bars if you're short trading at the top of this channel here, and especially straight after this really ultra high volume bar there. So that would have been a really good, excellent short trade. Don't you worry about that. So, and yeah, so you don't see good ones like that too often, do you? Sometimes they're a bit more ambiguous, but that was a really nice. You got your ultra high volume, up thrust, no demand, top of a trend channel, go short, and that would have been a good high probability trade there. They teach that as a in the trade guide forums, in the VSA club, and in the VSA book, Trading in the Shadow of the Smart Money. That's one of the setups that they teach, and so yeah, it's good to see one really clear like that, because you don't see them all the time. But anyway, it looks like strength trying to come in there, but we are in a downtrend, so I wouldn't want to be long at the moment unless I'm scalping on the intraday.